Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. Luffy and Hancock are great allies, and they assist each other whenever the other needs help. However, Hancock actually has romantic feelings for Luffy, and that's something that just isn't reciprocated. But even so, Boa Hancock is convinced that she will be able to make Luffy fall in love with her. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the reasons why Luffy doesn't share the same feeling of love for Hancock, or any other character for that matter, and what our protagonist's love future could actually be. But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel, or even if you've watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like, and even subscribe, and maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out, especially with that old YouTube algorithm, and it keeps motivating us to make more content. And if you'd like to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or another one of your favorites with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So my friends, our protagonist Monkey D. Luffy has a very particular personality that's quite different from other characters and protagonists of other stories. Sure, he's fearless, courageous, loyal, and determined, but he's also very straightforward in his emotions and thoughts. Luffy ultimately values friendship and loyalty above all else, and doesn't tend to worry too much about romantic issues, and instead focuses on achieving his goals and the goals of the people that are beside him on his journey to find the One Piece. As for Boa Hancock, she is the ruler of Amazon Lily, and one of the most powerful and beautiful characters in the One Piece universe. This would allow her to be able to conquer virtually any man or woman she ever desired. She's also one of the most popular female characters in anime and manga, and as unexpected as it is, she fell in love with Luffy from the moment she met him, but Luffy doesn't return those same feelings. The reason why Luffy doesn't love Boa Hancock is quite simple and visible when you take a look at his character quickly. Luffy doesn't look at other people in terms of gender or appearance. Instead, for Luffy, people are valued for their personalities and actions and what they do. He cares about his friends for who they are and what they do to help him, not their physical appearance or any other characteristic, and he only cares about the person's character and really their heart. Furthermore, Luffy has very clear goals in mind, such as becoming the next Pirate King and finding the One Piece, and he is solely focused on achieving those goals and isn't going to be distracted by romantic issues. For Luffy, romantic love just isn't a priority. So although Boa Hancock is an admiral and powerful character in her own right, and although Luffy does consider her a valuable friend, he simply isn't attracted to her, at least not in that romantic way. For Luffy, friendship and companionship are much more important than any other type of relationship. So no matter how beautiful the character might be, Luffy just sees other people as companions. As I just said, from the beginning of the series, Luffy has had that very clear goal to become the next king of the pirates, just like the former Goldie Roger was in the past, reaching the ranks of pirates and becoming the most recognized one worldwide. Luffy focuses entirely on achieving that goal and is not easily distracted unless it's really necessary to take a quick detour from his goal to help his teammates or otherwise take care of something urgent. So for Luffy, romantic love just isn't on the table right now. Now, this doesn't mean that Luffy doesn't love people. He cares very deeply for his friends and is always willing to fight and sacrifice whatever he needs to fight and keep them safe. And this has been demonstrated multiple times where Luffy went after saving not only his crewmates, but also acquaintances and allies that he's met along his journey. Another important aspect of Luffy's personality is his simplicity. He's very straightforward and doesn't care much about subtleties or emotional nuances. So this means that he's not a person who's going to be attracted to love games or even complicated relationships. This means that he is only going to see Boa Hancock as a very important ally. Now, he would still give his life to save her in the same way that Luffy would do the same for Nami, Robin, or even Vivi. And finally, it's important to note that Luffy is still a very young character, and he still has a lot to learn about the world and himself. So it's possible that over the course of the series, he might develop romantic feelings for some. However, as of yet, Luffy just doesn't have any particular love interest. Luffy and Boa Hancock have a very important past together, which allowed them to become great friends and allies. Now, Hancock is the Empress of Amazon Lily, an island inhabited solely by women. She's powerful, beautiful, and highly respected in her homeland. When Luffy first arrives on Amazon Lily, he accidentally sees Hancock taking a shower, which is a capital offense on Amazon Lily. However, Hancock falls in love with Luffy after some events in which Luffy proves to be very different from any other men that Hancock has ever met, because she despises other men and yet decides to let Luffy live. Because Hancock cares about Luffy and what he is after so much, she ended up helping him infiltrate Impel Down, which of course is the maximum security prison that he needed to infiltrate to rescue his brother Ace, because Ace had been previously captured by Teach and then turned over to the world government. Thus, so far, Luffy just hasn't shown any romantic interest in anyone in the One Piece story. He's a character who focuses solely on fulfilling his goals, and that's finding the One Piece treasure and becoming the Pirate King, and also protecting his friends and seeing that they get to achieve their dreams as well. However, just like I said before, it doesn't mean that he couldn't fall in love with someone in the future of the story. One of the best things about One Piece author Ichiro Oda is that he is known for creating complex and unpredictable characters. So it's possible that he could introduce a character that Luffy is just smitten with at some point. However, at the current moment, the main emphasis of the story is on adventure, action, and comedy. So romance just might not be a topic that's ever explored much. Probably this Luffy relationship would only come after he achieves his goal of becoming king of the pirates, and then whatever other bigger goal that he shares with his friends that we still as fans don't know about. Another factor to consider is Luffy's personality, because he's known to be rather direct and impulsive, and love is not an emotion that is really ever present in his life. And the strong connection that he has with his friends and the pursuit of the One Piece treasure may mean that he just doesn't have the time or energy to get involved in a romantic relationship, instead choosing to complete their goal of finding the One Piece treasure before focusing on any other goal. Because ultimately, what matters the most is that the story continues to captivate us with its exciting adventures and interesting characters, so that in the future, we will be shown Luffy's new romantic partner, in which Oda might already have in mind who that's gonna be. Now, it's a little difficult to see this possibility of Luffy and Hancock. First of all, because there is a big age difference, and because they're not really a couple that suits each other. Because although many fans don't agree with this idea, Hancock has always shown herself to be a great ally of Luffy and the Straw Hats as well. Hancock shows an extreme loyalty to Luffy and demonstrates a desire to protect him at all costs. And she's also helped Luffy escape prison, fight his enemies, and Luffy in turn shows gratitude towards Hancock and respect towards her strength and abilities, something that she's never really gotten from any man in the world. We also have to remember that initially, Luffy and Hancock's relationship was quite complicated, especially by the fact that Hancock was one of the 7 warlords, one of the 7 most powerful people in the world of piracy who were granted privateer status by the world government. But when Hancock went against the Marines and the world government just by helping Luffy during the Battle of Marineford, it made Luffy trust Hancock even more, and definitely considered her an ally that he could trust. Across the world, Hancock has a reputation for being cruel and merciless towards her enemies. Yet towards Luffy, she's kind, caring, and let's be honest, just really sweet to him. And furthermore, Hancock is extremely jealous of any other woman who approaches Luffy, and is also never afraid to show her anger when they do. But despite all this, Luffy is oblivious and just not romantically interested in Hancock, and treats her primarily as a friend and an ally. He values her help and her strength, but he never has returned those romantic feelings. So in short, Luffy and Hancock's relationship is complicated, but it's still friendly and respectful, and it doesn't mean it doesn't have places to grow. Ultimately, Hancock is extremely loyal to Luffy and helps him wherever she can. And while Luffy values her strength and skills, even if he doesn't have romantic interest right now, it doesn't mean that it's off the table in the future once he has achieved his goals and helped his crewmates do the same. So at this point, it's going to be really difficult for Luffy and Hancock to have a romantic relationship in the future. But it's not impossible for Luffy to find her or someone else that he really likes and builds a bond at the end of his dream after becoming the Pirate King. Because once he does that, he's going to be able to end his journey as a pirate and live a normal life with his beloved. And we might even get to see a little bit of that in the epilogue at the final end of our story. So with all that said, my friends, we'd now love to know what you think about it. What do you think about this possible future where Luffy and Hancock end up coming together and settling down together at the end of our story? And if not Hancock, who else do you think would make a proper match for Luffy? And this is of course after he's achieved everything he wants and the wealth and fame and power, and he's finally ready to settle down and live that quiet life at the real end of his journey. Let us know what you think about that in the comments below. So as we wrap up our video today, we'd like to thank you all so much for watching, especially those of you who've made it here to the very end. Be sure to comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. I can't wait to see you all in our next video. Let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.